Today, we're going to reveal the top 10 states in the U.S. teetering on the edge of collapse. From economic turmoil to political mismanagement, find out which states are facing an uncertain future and why you need to pay attention. That's right. These are the places where, if things don't change soon, you might find yourself packing up and hitting the road faster than you can say foreclosure. Ready? Let's count down from 10 to 1. Number 10. Pennsylvania, the Rust Belt Blues. Pennsylvania, the Keystone State, home to the Liberty Bell, cheesesteaks, and a once thriving industrial backbone. But now, well, let's just say the bell is a little cracked, and so is Pennsylvania's economy. The collapse here is like watching a slow-motion train wreck. The Rust Belt is rustier than ever, with factories shutting down, leaving behind ghost towns that would make you think twice about a midnight stroll. Unemployment is rising, and the population is shrinking as people flee for greener pastures. Could it get any worse? Oh, it sure could. But let's not dwell on the doom and gloom just yet. There's more to come. 9. Mississippi, sinking into the mud. Next, we head down south to Mississippi, where the blues aren't just a music genre, they're a way of life. Mississippi has been grappling with poverty, poor health care, and an education system that, well, could use some serious CPR. The state's infrastructure is crumbling faster than a cookie in a glass of milk. Roads, pothole paradise, bridges, don't look down. And the economy? Let's just say it's taking a nosedive into the Mississippi River. With a population that's shrinking and a workforce that's struggling to keep its head above water, Mississippi is sinking, quite literally and figuratively, into the mud. 8. Alaska, frozen in time. Alaska, the last frontier, might just become the lost frontier if things keep going the way they are. Sure, it's beautiful, glaciers, wildlife, and more wilderness than you can shake a stick at, but the state's economy is colder than an iceberg. Oil revenues, once the lifeblood of Alaska's economy, are drying up faster than you can say pipeline. The cost of living is sky high, and let's not even talk about the isolation. Imagine being hundreds of miles from the nearest grocery store in the dead of winter. No thanks. With dwindling jobs and people leaving for the lower 48, Alaska is teetering on the edge of becoming a frozen wasteland. 7. West Virginia, the Mountain State's meltdown. West Virginia, where the mountains are high and the economy is low. This state has been hit hard by the decline of the coal industry, which was once its bread and butter. Now those mines are closing, leaving behind unemployment and towns that look like they belong in a post-apocalyptic movie. The opioid crisis has only added fuel to the fire, with addiction rates soaring and healthcare systems crumbling under the pressure. It's a state that's facing an uphill battle, literally and metaphorically, with no clear path to recovery in sight. 6. New Mexico, the land of enchantment, or disenchantment. New Mexico, where the sunsets are stunning, and the problems are even more so. This state has been struggling with high poverty rates, low education outcomes, and a crime rate that's climbing faster than a hot air balloon at the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. The economy? It's a bit of a mixed bag. While tourism and film production bring in some cash, the overall outlook is pretty bleak. The state's reliance on federal funding is like a house of cards, ready to collapse at the slightest gust of wind. And with people leaving the state in search of better opportunities, New Mexico might just become a land of empty promises. 5. Louisiana, the Bayou Blues. Louisiana, where the gumbo is hot but the economy is not. The state has been grappling with natural disasters, from hurricanes to floods, like a boxer taking hit after hit in the ring. The oil and gas industry, once the backbone of Louisiana's economy, is struggling, and the state's finances are sinking faster than the coastal marshlands. Add in a healthcare system that's stretched thin and an education system that's falling behind, and you've got a recipe for disaster. The Big Easy? More like the Big Uneasy as the state teeters on the edge of collapse. 4. Illinois, the Prairie State in peril. Illinois, land of Lincoln and, well, a whole lot of debt. This state's finances are in such bad shape that even Houdini couldn't escape from this mess. The pension system is underfunded, the population is shrinking, and businesses are fleeing like rats from a sinking ship. Chicago, the state's crown jewel, is dealing with crime rates that are off the charts and a public school system that's struggling to keep the lights on. It's a state that's bleeding people, money, and hope, with no clear path to recovery in sight. The collapse here isn't just a possibility. It's practically a guarantee if things don't turn around soon. 3. New Jersey, the Garden State gone wild. New Jersey, the Garden State, might want to consider planting some money trees because its finances are in dire straits. The state is drowning in debt thanks to years of mismanagement and unfunded pension liabilities. Property taxes are through the roof, and the cost of living is pushing people out faster than a Jersey Shore traffic jam. The infrastructure is crumbling, and the state's reputation as a great place to live is wilting like a garden in a drought. The future isn't looking too bright for New Jersey, and unless there's some serious reform, this state might just collapse under the weight of its own problems. 2. California, the Golden State losing its shine. California, the Golden State, has been glittering for decades, but that shine is starting to fade. The state has been hit by wildfires, droughts, and an affordability crisis that's driving people out in droves. The tech industry may be booming, but the wealth gap is growing faster than the state's GDP. Homelessness is at an all-time high, and the cost of living is driving even the middle class to the brink of poverty. The state's finances are precarious, with a tax system that's as volatile as the San Andreas Fault. And speaking of faults, the looming threat of a major earthquake is enough to keep anyone up at night. California's collapse isn't just about economics. It's a perfect storm of environmental, social, and financial disasters waiting to happen. And finally, we arrive at number 1, New York, the Empire State, where the city never sleeps, but the economy might just be about to take a nap. New York has been hit hard by the pandemic, with businesses shuttering, tourism plummeting, and an exodus of residents fleeing for less expensive pastures. The cost of living is sky high, and the state's finances are a mess, with a budget deficit that's enough to make Wall Street bankers break out in a cold sweat. Crime rates in the city are rising, and the public transportation system is on life support. The Big Apple is starting to look a little bruised, and unless there's a drastic turnaround, New York might just crumble under the pressure. As you head out on your next adventure, keep an eye on the news and an ear to the ground, because you never know which state might be the next to make headlines for all the wrong reasons. If you enjoyed this countdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. Let us know, are you living in one of these states? Are you thinking of moving? We'd love to hear your stories. For more unique travel tales and expert tips, stick with your friends Dennis and Becca. And of course, stay tuned for more content where we dig into the places, people, and trends shaping our world today. Thanks for watching, safe travels, and be kind to all.